Got it. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday call. I'm so excited. This is our first call in the month of February. So I get to host this month. We kind of like switch it up, take turns. We've had a lot of fun guest speakers last week with Rachel Smart. So if you did not get to see the Rachel Smart call, I'm going to highly encourage you to go back and watch it because she was fabulous. So if you're new here, my name is Carrie Brummett. I'm one of 6 marketing directors on our Team Legacy Peak. I'm so proud and honored to be here today and to host the calls this week, where this week, we're just going to take one more week and continue on this conversation of money mindset. Jeanette kicked us off in January, really dove into this book called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So if you have not read this book, it's an excellent book. It's kind of like a 101 in, how we think about money, how are you taught about money, and really kind of working on that so that, we can go out and help others. And one thing I love about this book, I mean, there's so many good things. And by the way, we're going to have Julie Zilke, Qualifying National Marketing Director, come on today and share one last story about her money mindset and just some things that her and her husband are working on together because of reading this book. So I wanted to start you off with this. I don't know if you guys have ever read anything from Marianne Williamson, but this quote is in this book. And the book is called A Return to Love. Okay. And I think this is so important. We got to remember why is it important to have a money mindset? Why is it important for us to work on this? Well, number one, most of us were not taught anything about money. If you're anything like me, maybe you did, maybe your family did a really good job, but I was not taught anything about money, and therefore I didn't probably teach my kids anything about money. And that kind of is the blueprint that kind of continues. So this excerpt from this book, A Return to Love, it says, "You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in every one of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." And so that's why it's important. That's why it's important for us to get this right. Maybe you are in a comfortable position, but there are so many people out in the world, and more today than ever, that need our help. They're hurting. And so what if, you could not just help someone, but you could teach them, so it's like you can either feed them or you can teach them to fish, right? And that's another, parable and principle out of the Bible. And, I know that we have 2 very big problems in the world. So, a very smart, idea, a business idea is, what do? You look for a problem to solve, right? We do sell a product, but we actually are in service to others. We are serving and helping to solve 2 very big problems. One is health and the health crisis. And that was really brought to light through COVID. We've always known it's been there, but people, if they've forgotten, we could remind them. And then number 2 is the financial crisis. And, we need to care as much about people's finances as we do, right? I mean, I know I'm going to share my story because many of you might not know my story. And we were just talking about Ember's 40th birthday, and I said, oh my gosh, I didn't even start this business until I was 41 years old. So if you are younger than 41, oh my gosh, just the possibilities that you have and that you already have your hands on this business is amazing. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I'm going to tell you the short version, but when I was 41, so that was 20 years ago. Yes, you can do the math, and I'm aging backwards. But when I found out about Juice Plus, I was really in a lot of health crisis. Now, they hadn't manifested into anything significant, luckily, but I was dealing with things like UTIs and chronic back pain and GERD, and they were testing me for MS. I mean, I was just having all of these symptoms and all of these problems, and there were no answers. I would go, they would test, and they would say, well, we didn't find anything, but if your symptoms persist or get worse, just come back. So that was the answer. And so I was like, wow, I'm only 41. I need this body to last me a lot longer. And I was doing a lot of things right. I exercised, we were very active family, but there were a couple of key pieces that were either missing or that were in our lives that were really causing me a lot of stress. So number one, the big missing piece in our health was fruits and vegetables, right? We did so many things right, but I did things like drink Diet Coke and low fat and no fat and all of those unhealthy things that we did back in the 90s so that we could be skinny, right? But we were skinny fat. We didn't know what we didn't know. And so when I heard about the message about fruits and vegetables in a capsule, I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? This is exactly what we're missing. This is exactly what we need. And I had so many great, experiences right off the bat. I mean, my chronic back pain gone. My GERD was like almost gone. Just on and on and on. So, for me, it was a no-brainer. I was like, oh my gosh, we need fruits and vegetables in a capsule. So that part was a no-brainer. But at the very same time, what Jeanette didn't know when she shared Juice Plus with me was we had this little red book. And so this little red book was a book that listed all of our debts. And I know you can't see this, but that's okay. Trust me, this little red book had a list of debts that, caused us a lot of stress, a lot of financial stress, a lot of stress on our marriage, and a lot of physical stress, because stress will manifest itself into physical symptoms. Did you know that? So, when I found Juice Plus, I had no idea, and I actually was praying for an answer, okay, bring me something for my health. I'm really struggling here. I need answers. Lord, please bring me a business, bring me something I can do so that I can help my husband and we can get out from underneath these debts. But Lord, please allow me to keep staying home with my kids. Please allow me something that I can do that's going to give me purpose, passion, and time. And so, oh my gosh, I just couldn't believe when I found Juice Plus and I realized that there was a business opportunity that it would actually fulfill all three of those areas for us. Our health, we could get paid back to work on our own health. It could help us with our financial debts and this little red book that I wanted to get rid of. And it could help bring me the time that I wanted to actually still be present for my family. And then bonus, I got this amazing community out of it. So, here's the thing. You don't know, and Jeanette didn't know. People are not going to tell you what's going on in their lives and behind the scenes. They really aren't. They don't walk around with a sign on their forehead saying, help me, we're drowning in debt. Most people will not reveal that to you. So this is why we need to really care about other people's finances and always offer this opportunity. Okay, so that's a little bit of a background on my story and how I got here. So that little red book was actually my threshold. And I want you to think about where you are, whether you want to be a marketing director or you want to make $500 to $1,000 a month or whatever that is. What is your threshold? What are you not willing to accept anymore? What is it that you want that's going to help you to do every day and to actually love and serve others in a way that is not only going to help them, but it's going to help you. Okay, so I want you to think about that. You guys can pop some things in the chat if you want. I just know that that was my threshold, and what I was dreaming of was not matching up with our checkbook. So, okay, so really what I want to do is I want to switch gears and I'm going to turn it over to Julie Zilke. Many of you know Julie Zilke here. She is a wonderful mom of 8, a wife, a homeschooler, a homesteader. She just does so many things that I couldn't even possibly begin to tell you. She's also a qualifying national marketing director on this team, getting ready to step into that national marketing director position. And her husband have been diving into the secrets to the millionaire mind. And Julie, we would love to hear what you guys have uncovered and discovered.
Absolutely. Well, it really just tags well from what you were sharing about your threshold. So I just love how it all kind of goes together. And yeah, I'm more ready than ever to step into national marketing director because of what I'm learning in the secrets of the millionaire mind. And so I cannot emphasize enough that get the book from the library or purchase it because you're probably going to want to highlight it. It has been so transformational in so many ways. So I want to start with what the wealth file I'm going to cover is, and then give you a little background of who I am and kind of my money blueprint, and then how I'm seeing this really impact me. So, the wealth file that I'm going to talk about today is wealth file number 10, that rich people are excellent receivers and poor people are really poor receivers. And so it's a little bit about what Carrie is talking about, like what can, what are you wanting, but really what can you and are you willing to receive? So each of these wealth files is incredible. Like there's 17 of them. So I just picked one that resonated with me. So a little bit about my background. I grew up in a very middle-class family, small town. My dad was a janitor at the Chrysler Proving Grounds in town. My mom stayed home until I was in middle school and then went to work so we could go to college, which I was very appreciative of. When Carrie also talked about like they didn't really teach me about money, they didn't really teach me about money, but I picked up a lot about money just from how they were living, right? So it's the subconscious programming that you're receiving that you don't even know. And so the things that, as I was thinking about this talk, that I remember is number one, my mom was the person in charge of money. My dad made the money. My mom was in charge of the money. And she sat at our table with a little notebook, just like Carrie showed, that little notebook with figures all over it, pencil and addition and subtraction columns going down. And that's what I remember. And they didn't talk about money a lot, but when they did, it was more of I don't think we have enough. I don't think there's enough for that. I don't think there's enough. So there definitely was a scarcity mindset, not a mindset of abundance. The other thing looking back that I kind of reflected on is they were not givers. We did not belong to a church. I never remember them giving any money or just any charities or anything like that. So when I went to college, I became a Christian. And in doing so, that started to change my blueprint a little bit just because I was learning about stewardship and what to do with the money that you had. So I got really good at that. And then also the giving piece, and that money was not just for us, but that it was wonderful to be a giver. Okay. So that all began to shift. Then Jeremy and I, when we got married, we started our marriage in ministry. And for 20 years of our marriage, we were in ministry. And so I got really good at stretching a dollar, and I knew how to work a budget. And that was really comfortable for me. And I think, Jeremy kind of thought, oh, well, you just transitioned so nicely, because when we met each other, I was doing very well in sales. I was at 20 something making six figures, which, like, I don't even know what I was doing with that money, but I just had it. And yet I transitioned very quickly back into learning how to stretch a budget and not having enough. Jeremy and I, in going through this book, he's like learning things about me we have not even talked about before in 23 years. Because what I uncovered is I had done really well for 20 years in this small income, big family, because it's exactly what I knew. It was exactly what I was comfortable with. Okay. But the leadership retreat and going over this material could have not come at a better time, because 2.5 years ago, we left ministry and we transitioned into purchasing a business in the marketplace. And with that came the potential for more income. Now, I say the potential for, because in the beginning, at the very beginning, we had to go backwards a little bit. Well, guess what? I was super comfortable with that. I knew how to go backwards. We could just get a little tighter. So that's what we did. But in the couple years that we've been in the marketplace, things have gone really well with my husband's business. And there has been more income than we've ever had before. And before the leadership retreat, I wouldn't have even been able to identify this. But at the leadership retreat, going over this material, I realized that I was over and over again saying to myself, "Oh, we don't deserve this," or "This can't last," or. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I even had the thought, like, Jeremy's probably going to die, because there's no reason, like, there's no way that we can have this money. Like, something will happen, because this certainly can't be my future. So again, wealth file number 10 is rich people are excellent receivers. Poor people are poor receivers. So I am sitting here not wanting to receive any of this income that is coming my way. I'm kind of just sabotaging it. So I read this book, and interesting enough, this is the one that resonates with me. And what T. Harv Eker says, it's the number one reason, this wealth file is the number one reason that people don't reach their full potential. So, okay, this is one that we need to get right. They're all important, but this is one we need to get right. So why is this? Why is it that poor people can't receive and rich people are excellent receivers? The first reason, he says, is because they don't feel worthy. And so that was a little bit of the messaging I was telling myself. I can't deserve this. We can't have this. Why do we feel that way? Probably because, just again, childhood. Not that my parents ever told me I wasn't worthwhile, never said that to me. But we get that messaging through school. I mean, schools are set up, there's grades, you're always being ranked, you're not, maybe not measuring up in your mind. I mean, there's always an enemy of our souls who is feeding us lies. Okay. And even a couple weeks ago, if you were in St. Louis and got to see Terry Luongo, I don't know if you guys heard her say, but she had a great sense of shame and unworthiness that she needed to lose in order to step into the leadership role that was waiting for her at Juice Plus. And along with the leadership role, the income that was coming with that. She specifically said she had to make a decision to change that. And that's also what Eker says. He says something so important. He says, nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it. Okay. So if you think you're worthy, you are. If you think you're not worthy, then you're not. But again, for me as a Christian, I already know what God thinks about me. I am the apple of his eye, and I could go on and on about all the worthiness that I have just by being his daughter. So I get to decide. Jess Stenzel at training this past week in St. Louis said, you flip the script. I mean, it's that simple. And that's also what T. Harv Eker says. You change your story, make up a new one. I know that sounds really easy. I think it is really easy. I think we just have to start telling ourselves different things. So that's the first reason that people have a hard time receiving. The second reason is because we believe that it's better to give than to receive. And I can tell you again, in 20 years being in ministry, that is drilled into you. You are more spiritual, more pious if you are a giver and not a receiver. But Eker really says, I mean, it was just mind-blowing, again, simple. No, you need givers and receivers. They're two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other, and one is not more important than the other. So I think about God being the giver of all good gifts, and what kind of posture do we want to have to receive those gifts? And I think about my children on Christmas morning, and let me tell you, they are not thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I deserve this. I don't know, have I been good enough all year? I mean, no, They are ecstatic to receive all that is there to be given to them. And what about me? If I'm sitting here all the time, like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I mean, is that the type of person you want to give to? I don't want to give to that type of person. I know when my children are grateful and excited to receive, I want to give them more. So giving is not more important than receiving. Receiving is just as important, and learning to be a receiver is key. So how do you become a good receiver? Okay, the first one is to nurture yourself. This could be a little uncomfortable, but you have money coming in, create a little slush fund for yourself, nurture yourself, do things that make you feel good and cared for, and get used to that, believing that you deserve that. And second of all is gratitude. He says to go crazy with gratitude whenever you receive anything. He has an example of you find a quarter on the ground. Well, be excited about that. That came to you, that you practice receiving that. So again, when my children are grateful, I want to give them more. So those are his main points. I think something else I just want to leave you with is, let's say, this quote: being open and willing to receive is absolutely critical if you want to create wealth. And it's absolutely critical if you want to keep wealth. Okay. So we can receive it, but if we are not in a good state, it will find itself flying away again. Right. So we need to expand our receiving box. So we have to get a bigger container to receive more, if you will. And then the last thing he says, which I think is very interesting, and I can see it in my own life: if you are closed off to receiving in one area, you are closed off to receiving in all areas. They all go together. So working on your money mindset is not just going to open up one area in your life, it's going to open up all areas in your life to be able to receive what God has for you and the good things that are coming to you. So I think that's what I have.
Oh my gosh, Julie. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing all of that. And I never even thought about that, really. Before this, I never really thought about that, and how we receive, and how, we're so taught to be so humble, and like you said, just be givers, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. That is good. But not being a receiver will not be good. And I love when you said nurture yourself. One of my well, maybe not my first goal, but somewhere when I started making money and like paying off that little red book, right? One of my goals was to hire somebody to clean my house. I was like, oh my gosh, talk about nurture yourself. I was like, and then free myself up so that I could go do more fun things than clean the house. So anyway, thank you, Julie. I appreciate you so much for sharing that. All right, guys. So again, what is your threshold? Are you working on this, on your money mindset? Because it is a gift, and that gift not only will bless you, but you can then go out and bless other people in service. So I want to share really quickly before we end the call a few things. I'm going to share my screen here. Hold on, get back here to boards. Okay. Julie, will you give me a thumbs up if you can see the boards on my screen? You can. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so speaking of what's going on, I'm on the Campbell team boards here, and I'm going to go to news and info. Whenever you want to know like what's happening, what's the company kind of focusing on for us in the coming months, here it is. And one very exciting incentive that started this month is the what if you said yes. And so this incentive is going to run from February 5th, which was yesterday, to March 31st. Okay. Now there's a caveat here, because the March 31st is to join for just $10. Okay. So again, as we're thinking about, people and our customers, don't just offer the product. You have to really let them know how amazing this opportunity in this community is. So here we are, you know, because we care so much about our mission, because we care so much about people's health, we have such a desire to get Juice Plus into people's bodies, into families' bodies, right? But also because of the current economic situation, whether that's really affecting you or not, it is affecting a lot of people. And so our company realizes that. So we're like, hey, you know what? Here's an opportunity for you to partner with us to become a larger part of this community and for you to share this with your loved ones and friends. So just you plus your 2 customer orders. If they're trios, considering their trios is caveat for $190 in sales profit, right? And $100 in free samples. Now, hey, you guys, if you wouldn't mind muting. So you only get the $100 in free samples after you promote to Partner Plus, okay? So make sure that you kind of see all the details here. I was going to show you here are more of the details on the incentives. Now the $100 in samples will actually go through May 1st. So the sign up is for $10 is only through March 31st, but they can receive the samples up until May 1st if they promote to Partner Plus. Okay, does that make sense? So that's such a great opportunity. Again, talk about caring about both our health and finances, 2 big problems in our world today. And then I'm going to encourage you just to kind of go through some of these other things. A couple of things I saw that you might want to dive into is on your hub, on your juiceplus.com portal, your partner portal, they have a new events course on events. Okay. And this kind of is going to tee me up for our next week, where we're going to hear from Jessica Cochran, who's a new QSC PB qualifier. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about events. But if you really want to get a step ahead and really dive into this, I would highly encourage you to dive into this training on the hub. Okay. And there's a few other things on there that you might want to look around and know about. So dive into that. Okay. I'm going to leave you with a couple of things. I'm going to leave you with a challenge because I think it's always good for us to be challenged, right? Okay. 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to encourage you to have 3 events in the next 30 days. Okay. Now, one of those events could be the Wendy Campbell event, which is going to be on March 1st, is going to be the product, and March 2nd will be the business event. Okay. So that could actually be one of your events, or, you know, 2 of your events that you build for. I would say 1, make it product and business. Okay. And then I'm going to encourage you to put 2 other events on your calendar that you can build for. Okay. That's so crucial. That's how we build customers. And then number 2 is, okay.
Hey, Carrie, can I just butt in and say Wendy
Yeah.
Campbell is having a call on coming up this week that they could also do a home watch around.
Oh, that's right. Is it the 8th, Jeanette?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So watch party on February 8th. Go to boards, look at events, go to watch parties. It's under there. How easy is that? And also, you don't even have to host an event at your house, but could you get 5 people to watch it in their own home and then follow up with them? Okay. So great idea. Watch parties are amazing. Now, the second thing I'm going to encourage you with and challenge you with is, if you already have a customer base, print your customer genealogy report, look at all your customers that are going to ship out in February and March. And those are the people you want to start with to offer this $10 what if you said yes incentive. I'm going to get with a couple of people. We're going to put some text verbiage in our boards so that you'll have something to be guided by. But you certainly can use it, or you can use your own, or you can make a combination of both. But we'll give you some verbiage in our boards so that you can have something to use. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you for joining today. Give yourself a pat on the back for investing 30 minutes into yourself, into your business. Take those challenges seriously. We'll see you next week here. And we'll hear from Jessica and some, hopefully some promotions, some new promotions. Okay? All right, guys.
Thank you,
Carrie,
Carrie. Thank you,
Julie, that was
Julie.
excellent.
That was amazing. So
Thank you,
good.
thank you.
Go make it a good week, everyone.
I love these calls, you guys. I'm so proud of you guys.